Okay, a little bit of a tardy start. Sorry about that. Let me just get things set up for everybody in case you are in the actual portal, in the, what's it called, in the live. So okay, so welcome everyone to Web Launch Academy's, what is this, the 12th day or something like that? We're in the, it's November 19th. So we started November 3rd. We had a day, yeah, something like that. So we're gonna just talk about like images and where they belong, and the formats. So because I think pretty much every website will have a, an image somewhere, and you have to, pull those out from external sources, and then you'll get those images. So let's, if you'll remember, we have our image stored in public here. So if you go to your little files, you'll see public. That's normally where it stores them. And then we got our little boat on a lake.jpg. And we're using .jpg here because it's a bigger picture. And we'll just click on this little local host to get the testing environment running. Could have also gone into Vercel because it is hosted. It is actually on there. So this is the big, beautiful image. And why did we choose .jpg for that image? Oh, here's some of the reasons why. Here's some of the, here's the structure, public, images, logo or logo SVG. So the logos should be PNG or SVG. Those are high resolution. Hero background. Hero or background is .jpg. It's going to be bigger. So it's going to be .jpg because it's a smaller size, so it's not going to kill your loading speed. Team photos .jpg, again, probably going to be a bigger picture. Service icon SVG, those little icons, logos, those are all going to be SVG or PNG. This one, in this case, will be SVG. Testimonial photo, JPG, again, pretty big. Favicon, that is, I'll actually show you what that is typically. So the fav icon is actually this thing. And this website is using the Web Launch Academy fav icon. And you'll notice that's probably really hard to see. It's even hard to see for me. It's probably harder for everyone there to see, being on video and stuff. Things are a little bit grainier. But my fav icon it's very hard to show up. It's, fav icons need to be very, very simple. And I'll actually give a good example of a good fav icon. So this is a good this is a good favicon, right? Most people can see that. That's the Google Chrome one. There's, there's like Namecheap. Namecheap has a pretty good one. It's orange, and then you got the white thing there. That's a nice favicon. So they need to be very, very simple. No, most of them only have like a letter, one single letter with a single background color, or a letter, a symbol or a letter with like just two colors. Very, very simple. So mine's probably it's a little bit too complicated. In favicons, you just tell Claude, hey, make a favicon, or help me make a favicon, and you can usually do that in like just some like free AI image creator. Anyway, back to these format recommendations for websites. Logos, best SVG, scales perfectly, tiny file size. So yeah, logos, PNG, good, good alternate. Avoid JPG, no transparency support. Hero images / backgrounds, JPG, smaller file size. Yeah, that's why. Okay, WebP. I don't even know what WebP is, honestly. Even better if browser supports. Next.js handles this automatically. So I guess WebP. Not sure what that means. Size optimized to under 200 KB when possible. Icons, yeah, these are what I was saying. So here's a nice little quick reference table. Logo, icon, diagram, photo, screenshot, backgrounds. So you could basically pick either SVG, basically SVG or PNG or JPG. The big thing to remember is JPG for bigger, PNG for smaller, and SVG for smaller. I could actually, yeah, so that's good. And today I wanted to kind of like just go over just a few other things. So what I can actually do is I can, slightly recommend this. It's not the best. Galaxy.ai. I use it for like generating images. It's pretty good for that, and just like general overall use. It's very cheap. But there's all of these different AI uses. So you type in like text to image, and there's Nano Banana. That one's pretty good. Sometimes the hype is like, not quite, doesn't quite meet the expectation, but Nano Banana is pretty good, I've noticed. And one thing if you're going to generate images using AI, a lot of these will make mistakes. Like they will just put random characters in the image sometimes. Like if you say create an image with any kind of text, like I don't know, like an image that's like that includes, like for Ramsey preferred coaches, it'd be like, create an image with like budget, a sample budget sheet or something like that. That budget sheet would probably have a ton of problems just because it would just put random text in there. And um, I could even demonstrate a little bit like how to create a good image. So it doesn't require a ton of description. You can make your description better by going into like, ChatGPT or something and saying, can you create an image prompt for my website? This image is going to be, in the, in the background, it's going to be, I don't know how big, like, it's going to cover like, a fourth of the screen or something like that. And you can you can create a prompt that way. But I'll just create a simple prompt here. So a budget sheet with a sample of data and make the color scheme blue and white. And let's just like run that. It's like super simple. It's not a lot of information. And you can make it like whatever size. And you can I'll just do one image. Normally you want to do like 4 images just to see like different ideas, but I'll just do one so it loads quicker. I could have worded that better. Yeah, so that's what you'll come up with. So Nana Banana is pretty good, but like it's just kind of weird. Like it's random data, like okay, category, all of that makes sense. It says expected income / expense. Like I don't know why. See, there's two rentals, and so AI will mess up stuff like that, like rent, utilities, groceries, and then it'll be like it'll put these two in red for some reason, and it's not really reliable. Like you have to be super specific. It'll just kind of like, especially with like anything with characters like text or numbers, AI is super funny. So that's just like a sample. And, again, you can kind of put it into whatever format, JPG or PNG. And then you can kind of like play around with how you modify the formats and things like that. But, so just touching on that. Let's see. So another thing I wanted to touch on was just going into this, into Vercel. So this is our host, and we hosted our little thing on here. So you'll notice that this is a little bit different than this. Like, why do I have a little metric here? It says 100. What's that about? So you can actually go to this. You can go to in your project. So again, this is like your project. You go to analytics. These web analytics, they collect valuable insights on user behavior and site performance with detailed page view metrics. Gain knowledge on top pages. So real-time insights into your traffic ensures smooth performance with real-time bandwidth analysis. And you can also there's all this stuff that it does. Respects privacy, easy integration. Okay, so we can enable this, and this is free. 50,000 events per month included, 30 days viewable history. So other than that, it's 20 bucks, but we'll just enable the free and we'll get started. So I think we can just tell Claude, hey, I want web analytics enabled on Vercel, and let's see if that works. So let's create a new window here, and we start Claude, and we can start to enable these things. I want to enable analytics from Vercel on this website. Let's see, do you know the commands to do that, or should I provide them from Vercel's website to get that started? So hopefully this will get it working. Yeah, Next.js project. Here's how to enable. So it looks like it knows how to do it. Add analytics component. Route layout. Using the page router. Let me read. So it did all of it. Once deployed to Vercel, analytics will automatically start collecting data. You can view them in your Vercel dashboard. So I don't know if it'll come up immediately. That would be pretty cool. And then we also have speed insights. So we can enable speed insights, get insight into the loading speed, responsiveness, visual stability, and other metrics that contribute to a great end user experience. So, free on hobby, once again. All these are free. Okay, so I already have one of my projects using free insight, but as long as you only have one project, you can enable this. So I can't, but you can. So, too bad. But all you got to do is enable that, and if there's any steps that Claude needs to take, you just do the same thing as we did with the analytics, and you should have that working. I just want to kind of go through like this stuff. So this is useful if you have any warnings or any problems going on. These can help debug some of your website. I don't usually look into this, but sometimes it works. Sometimes it's helpful. Here's the observability. Anomaly alerts. Firewall. So I've actually had a spike, like a massive attack on my website already. I was very surprised. I was like, what in the world? And like this thing went crazy. The bot, like tons of bots were like, just spiking my system resources for a while. So that was a little scary. But because I wasn't offering like a stream at the moment, like I think if it would actually, if you get a bot attack, what it can do is it can disrupt a service that you have. So right now, like if I had a bot attack on my system, on my site, the like this portal that I have running on my website, like the group coaching thing, that would like crash for sure. So yeah, it's just you need a lot of resources, and you can always upgrade to make it so you have more resources to handle higher traffic. But the free site or the free tier on Vercel should be good enough for Ramsey coaching. You get a ton of goodies for doing that. So I don't know what AI is within Vercel. Workflows. I honestly don't know. AI gateway. Anyway, all this is fine. The only places you really need to worry about are overview, deployments for when you deploy. So this green light means that it was successful, and it's deployed correctly. And then analytics, just like initially, speed insight, and then all the way to settings. These are all the things that you need to know. So build and deployment, you don't really have to worry about this. We set this up initially, So that should be set up correctly, but if it's not, you can go in there. Domains, you're going to want to, set the correct domain if you have a domain name. Environments. So production. That's where our website resides. Preview is for like, you don't have to worry about preview or development. We're doing development in here. So development just means like the testing. So this is our development environment. Okay, so you don't. So when you add your environment variables, make sure. Actually, I put them all in all environments, so you don't need this. You can actually unselect these. And yeah, I should do this actually. I should save all of these. And actually, I think, yeah, I think what I want to do is I actually have to update these, because remember the environment variables in in my actual project, they were all messed up. So here's what you want to do. When you do that copy and paste for your environment variables, what you want to do is you want to make sure you click this. Make sure this is just set to production. You don't really need preview. In fact, preview, if you mess around with preview at all with your website, that can lead to you exposing your environment variables. So you don't want to do that. So when you add your environment variables, select only production first. Super important. Okay. And then, just do your thing. Just copy and paste. Okay, into here. And then you save. And then they will all be populated with just the production selected. And I will, yeah, if you see that your environment variables are in all environments, make an edit to them. You can even recopy and paste them. Yeah, that one's in. Okay. So you just do that. So I'm going to try to figure out, all the functionality with respect to the environment variables in my site. With the availability, like the calendar booking and things like that. For now, it's a little bit too complicated right now. I'm gonna have to I don't want to waste another hour. Yesterday I tried doing that and it just wasted a ton of time. Plus, I don't have. You do have a limited amount of like Claude tokens too. You probably won't use them. You probably won't use all of them, because this website, like a financial coaching website, is pretty simple. But the thing is, if you're trying to debug a lot and you have a lot of errors, that can lead to you using a lot of tokens, because your AI will will be trying to fix things, and it can be kind of caught in a loop, kind of like what we got into yesterday. And there is a way to fix that. So I actually do have, I wanted to show everybody this. And actually, one of you bought this already. And I want to ask to let me know if you're having any trouble with this, or how you like it. But you can go into here, and you can purchase something that will help a ton with those environment variables. If you're having trouble, so this is the Architecture Mastery Toolkit. So what it does is, it's a bunch of, sorry, this is kind of a sales pitch, but it is super relevant, and I think it's worth, I think it'll be worth every penny. And let me know if you get stuck with it. But this basically makes it so that Claude can see everything, and it will just make your AI better. It will make your development experience better. It will also improve your website. It will also make sure there's a lot of good error catching, even if your user goes and does the wrong thing. Let me actually see. Let me actually see if I can demonstrate something. So let me go into here. Yeah. So right now, it says book, no available time zones. Okay, so that looks actually basically fine. Oh yeah. So let's say you do this. Email address. Let's put, yeah, let's just put that in there. It's fine. Send message. So I think I messed up. Okay, so it says message sent successfully. Okay, so this is just the time slot loading errors. Let's go into Airtable, see if that even worked. Because I thought I messed up all the Airtable data in my last stuff, in my last stream. But maybe it still went through. Okay, so it did go through. Okay, well, I guess there's no problem with that. But if your user, let's say, okay, so this is one thing that you'll want to make sure. So let's say you just do that, right? Sometimes the user will put in a bad or an incomplete data, right? They'll just do first name, Okay, so it automatically scrolls up. That's interesting. I think it might be because I already have this running, but send message. Actually, we want to do this. Okay, so let's go like this. That's cool. So it actually highlights in blue. Okay, so that should not have sent successfully because I had a bad email address. Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that there's error handling. That was an incorrect email address, and so okay, Airtable still took it. So this is just like this type. Oh, it is an email type. Is it not always? Let's see. Does there not always have to be LSG? Let's just do something really close. This is hard to mess up. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's actually already installed in this. And I don't know if your website will come up with that. But this is super helpful. So like it notices, hey, there's no @ there. And I guess like I don't know if all websites contain like a .com or something like that. They normally do. So I don't know if that's a typical error, but that's some nice error handling there. So like if the user messes up on your site, you want to be able to say like, hey, you're missing this field, right? Or this is required. This is a required field, or hey, you're missing this little @ sign. And it looks like this form is doing most of that stuff, and so that's really good. Happy to see that. So the contact form completely works. It completely works really, really well. And yeah, they can kind of mess this up, the .com. But I mean, that's pretty good. Like even if they don't have a .com there or something like that, like if they're missing the @ that's a little bit more confusing because that almost just looks like what if they had something like this. It's like, wait, what's the username? That's confusing. Is it Matt Jag Gmail? So they could mess up that pretty bad, and you would be able to catch it. So anyway, what this package sells is like it gives you development tools so that you can make sure your Airtable and those things are connected. So Claude should be able to read all of that and connect you quicker and a lot easier. So it'll keep you from running into a like an error loop. And I can kind of demonstrate how that is. But this is actually $90. I'll send anyone who wants this, I will send you a promo code. And so you can get this for $90. You'll get a lot of templates, you'll get CLI commands, implementation guides, an implementation roadmap, which I used. And basically, so what this is, what this all contains is it's AI commands that aren't default. So, you know, AI can do a lot of stuff for you, but it's not perfect. And by default, what it will do is it will kind of do like some simple stuff. It will make you a page, but it can't automatically know what your Airtable stuff is, what your, you know, your field names, your table names, all that stuff. It will mess that up, and you'll have to kind of struggle along and make sure everything's correct. But if you have the right prompts, which this provides you with, then it can actually see that data and it will make sure that it gets it right. So I'll demonstrate that at some point. What else was I going to do? For right now, oh, that's what I was going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over some more Airtable stuff. So some of these fields. So date and time, it's a pretty complicated field because it, you know, you can include a date, and you have to get these formats right a lot of times, and it's very hard to. And so you can do that. You can also do like a checkbox. And this one tricked me up. So this would be a good, I don't know, like what would be a budgeting thing? So, oh, you could do married, you know, single, whatever. So you can create a checkbox there. And this is like very helpful for simple just yes or no questions. It's a simple tick of the box. But the thing is, you have to remember this. You have to make sure the data is passed as true or false in this. And Claude got this messed up, and I was like trying to figure out, okay, what is the problem with, you know, with my data here? It looks like everything is right. And so it has to pass the data. So if you're collecting the data from a form, you have to make sure Claude knows that if they hit that checkbox, that data is passed as true. And I can't remember if it's lowercase or uppercase. Like if the first letter is uppercase, or it's just, you know, or if it's all uppercase. I think it's just all lowercase, but don't quote me on that. But some of these forms are very complicated. And, you know, you just have to make sure, like some of these field types, I mean, are very complicated. And so you have to make sure that it's all in there. And then making them required or not required is also something you got to make sure that you have. And also if they're added by default or not. So here's a default field. So you can say like, okay, I just want, you know, what would be, I mean, this could even be like your status, your marital status, right? marital status, married, single, divorced. All of these have different implications for where they might be money-wise. Confused. I don't know. In our day and age, that kind of seems appropriate. You don't really have to add that, but that's just so you can have like, you know, your default being single, but you know, you probably want that to be a required option in your form. So maybe it's not in your contact form, but it's probably in like when you book a free consultation, right? You'll probably actually want to add another form form modal for collecting data. After they do this, after they select the time slot, you'll probably want to direct them into another one of these, but more detailed, right? Married, what's your gross income or net income, whatever you want. You know, so that's another form that you're going to be using to pass into Airtable. And so this probably, if you make a mistake, like let's say you add the wrong data in the wrong table or something, you can always, you can duplicate the table and you can just like, put it over here. Availability. So you can have as many tables as you want. You can even have them dependent. Like some of the fields can be dependent on other fields. I honestly don't know how to do that. That's for another time. Yeah, maybe I'll have to create another like Airtable mastery course at some point. But yeah, there's a lot you can learn with Airtable. But yeah, this is gonna be the basics. And most of the stuff, like, you can definitely just get by with the basics. Like if you know how to do your standard field types, as well as adding a field name and then connecting that into your website, you're going to be just fine for like 99% of your stuff. The top, the more complicated stuff, that's if you want to be like super like detailed. Oh, here's another one. Like here's a currency field. This is obviously important for that kind of thing. So you can obviously round it to the nearest dollar or whatever format you want. So let's just say like net income, right? So you add that stuff. And we can even ask Claude like, hey, after the booking step, after booking a free consultation, add another form or something like that, so that I have, as much information as I can get from them. And you might even want to add that before they book with you. So, you might do like, hey, pick a day, pick a time, and then after they do that, don't pass a success right away. Ask for, okay, one more thing, add all your information so that we're ready to book the consultation or something like that, right? Or you can say like, okay, your meeting is penciled in. Let's get, the final details con, you know, in there so that I'm ready for the meeting or something like that. So these are all super important. You want to make sure that when you're creating your site that that you just think about what is my client going to do, right? What is the steps that they are probably going to take based on how my site is built, right? So they're probably going to go into here. Okay, maybe they don't know me yet. They want to go into my story. Okay, that looks nice. Book free consultation. Maybe not quite right yet. Maybe they want to make sure, other people have used my services. So you go into here. You pass some more testimonials. That'll be in that'll be in testimonial. New table. Start from scratch. Testimonials. Right, and so that'll probably have just name and message, right? That's all that'll have, name and message. So it's almost time to go, but I think just kind of an overview of what this is going to be good. So this affects a dependency. Yeah, I really don't know what those dependencies are. Name and long text. So this is a long text, very easy. It's a single text or single line text. Sally. Great coaching. Great coaching. Right, so this will save, and that can maybe pull into another as another testimonial. I really don't want to struggle with like the environment variables problems though. So let's see. Cell analytics is deployed. Yeah, it's 3 minutes till we'll end on that note. So we went over images. We kind of went like all over the place today. Sometimes that's necessary, I guess. Not much to say about images, honestly. There's, you can format them in whatever way you want. And it's really just like that, this sheet. It's good to have. But you can always ask Claude, like, hey, I want to do this type of image. What should I make it? Right? And Claude will tell you. But it's kind of good to know this stuff off the top of your head. Like, easiest thing to remember is like, if it's a big picture, it's JPEG or JPG or whatever, And then smaller is either SVG or PNG. So those are the two things to remember from that. Make sure you set up your analytics in here. Analytics, speed insights. get those going. And, make sure you have the correct Airtable setups. All your tables should match, but make sure you do your Airtable setup slowly, especially if you don't have the architecture mastery thing. But I'll send everyone that code so that if you want that, that'll help you out a lot with like the environment variables and this, connecting to your contacts forms, availability forms, testimonial forms, all that stuff. All right, it's 8 o'clock. Thanks for joining, everybody. Sorry it was a little bit sporadic today, covering a bunch of different topics. But hope you got something out of it. Now let's close in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, and thank you for everyone who joined. And I just pray that everyone would get the most out of their website from this course. And help me to be a servant in this regard. In your name I pray, amen. All right, bye everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I will check the comments because I forgot to do that. Is there any... Okay, there's no chat. No chat anywhere. At least not that I see. Go and just say bye, everybody. Bye, bye, bye. Just a few other things. So what I can actually